Joining us now, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan and Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert. Congressman Jordan, let me start with you. This is pretty bold. The Democrats are essentially saying the Republicans want to kill people. I'm going to ask you point blank. You're a Republican. You want to kill people?
Of course not. Democrats never miss an opportunity to try to advance their far-left agenda and attack the president and attack Republicans. I mean, think about what they proposed during this pandemic. Release illegal aliens, pay states to let criminals out of jail, deem abortion clinics as essential businesses, and stop Americans from purchasing a firearm and stop Americans from going to church. That's what they've pushed during this crisis, and they attacked the president so much so that they now create a special select committee. Wasn't good enough with Crossfire Hurricane, wasn't good enough with the Mueller investigation, couldn't get the president with this crazy impeachment over the Ukrainian phone call. So now they're going to create a select committee to go after the president, even though, as Mr. Gohmert knows, we already have 8 different entities doing oversight over the coronavirus response.
Congressman Gohmert, let's go into that. There are 8 federal inquiries right now about this response. Couldn't we use a 9th one? I mean, what's wrong? Is that a problem to have another one?
Governor, I love your question. Yeah, that's exactly Speaker Pelosi's solution. If you've got 8 committees in the hands of Democrats who are simply not doing their job, the solution is create another committee in the hands of Democrats. So that's what they did. And if you saw the Speaker's comments, she said, we are going to do this in a bipartisan way, and then promptly has 100% partisan vote to create a committee to try to impeach President Trump. That's what it's all boiling down to. But and as far as our friend Max, when he first said what he did about disrespect or telling cops to drop dead, I had to ask, is he talking about Mayor de Blasio? But apparently he was talking about Mitch McConnell. And saying a state might file for bankruptcy is not the same as telling the state's employees to drop dead. For heaven's sake, cops, firefighters, these first responders, they're all essential, and any bankruptcy court would rule that way. They're essential. They got to keep being paid. But it's not lawful to file bankruptcy for a state at this time. And a lot of us, Jim and I have talked about it, you know, we have been concerned all along that they would follow Rahm Emanuel's advice, not let a good crisis go to waste. And you've got Democrat cities, controlled cities and states that are basically bankrupt, and they might try to use this crisis to bail them out. And that's totally inappropriate. We're not standing for that.
Governor, if I could, those first 8 committees, they work for the taxpayers. The 9th committee is going to work for Joe Biden. Who'd they put in charge of that committee? Jim Clyburn, the guy who is most responsible for Joe Biden being the Democrats' nominee for president. Remember, Jim Clyburn, good man, but he's the one who endorsed Joe Biden in the South Carolina primary. He's the reason Joe Biden won that primary and then went on to the nomination. So this committee is about partisan politics, about helping Joe Biden and going after the president of the United States, just like these Democrats have done since even before the president was elected, when they started the Trump-Russia investigation in the summer of 2016.
Well, I think it's an important point you made, that it was Jim Clyburn who kind of resuscitated Joe Biden's career. Now Joe's down in the basement. We haven't seen a whole lot of him. But when Al Gore did his endorsement, it was one of the most awkward things I've ever seen. Congressman Gohmert, you might speak to the fact that when Al Gore was there and Joe was giving out some chopped word salad, you could almost see in Al Gore's face, what have I done?
Well, it's very hard for me to read a blank face, so I can't really comment on what it looked like Al Gore was thinking from my perspective. But they all look somewhat uncomfortable when they do that endorsement, and to me that included former President Obama. He could have done it a whole lot sooner. I don't know why it took so long.
Congressman Jordan, we've only got about 30 seconds, so I've got to get it quickly. But there are some pretty draconian things that have been done in states during this stay-at-home order. Do you think those are going to be looked at, investigated by the Department of Justice as to whether they were over the top and just flat too much?
Yeah, Bill Barr has indicated as much. And in fact, he gave a memo and a briefing or memo a couple weeks ago where he said, for goodness sake, if you can go to a grocery store and maintain 6 feet social distance, you can certainly go to church in your car and maintain the appropriate distance. And this idea that governors are stopping people from attending church, particularly on Easter Sunday, is just flat out wrong. So Bill Barr is defending liberty. He's also said these protesters, he's made some statements that I think are supportive of these people who are tired of what's taking place and simply want to get back to work and want to get our country back on the right track.
Congressman Jim Jordan and Congressman Louie Gohmert, thank you both.